G'day, Tragic here, and welcome to Shades of Tezla. And this is the first day. So we've done a whole day and a night, and now it is the next day. So this actually goes to day, and we'll just set this to 2 so I can keep track of everything. And then we get to re-roll all the dice. Oops, not this dice though. There we are. Let's lock that this time. Now we get all these dice. Just give that a roll and a bit of a thingo. What you got for us? Okay, this is a pretty good hand. We've got lots of green. Green, I think, is one of the most powerful mana types in the game, and white is the other really powerful one. We do have one depleted, but who cares? It's not a bad offer. Now, there was a kind of mistake in the last game with how we did this guy's turn. Basically, I've been playing wounds wrong the whole time. So let's just go through it. I mean, look at this. Look at this craziness. This is a typical example. See, the thing about Mage Knight is that it has a terrible manual. Like, the rule book is completely junk. But the problem is that the rules themselves are very logical and very clear, right? So once you learn the game well enough to know how to use the manual, where everything's written, it actually is a good manual. But for first comers and for if you're trying to find specific information, you don't know where to find it, it's a complete disaster. But because almost everything is in the manual, there's very few ambiguities, some fans confuse that with being a well-written manual, but it's not. I mean, it is bad. I mean, there are even things that aren't even in the rule book that you have to reference only in the walkthrough, and then they've split all these rules out of the book into cards. It's just ridiculous. But check out this, because I've been playing Knockout completely wrong for like 6 years. This is the rules for combat with enemies, okay? And then down here, you know, the way the whole manual is set out from start to finish is that it goes through all the phases and tells you all the different things that can happen in that phase, except for Knockout. The Knockout rules are here. That's the only place in the whole manual where the Knockout is described, and it occurs in the assigned damage phase. Doesn't say anything that it shouldn't be in any other phase. It just says during combat is the only thing it says here. Now, I always read this as the knockout happens during the assigned damage phase because, you know, it's in the assigned damage phase section of the rules. But no, apparently not. Apparently, this is just another example of an exception where this is placed here because it's kind of on the same topic that you're already reading about, but it's got nothing to do with the timing structure, even though it's inside a specific phase. Crazy. So that's basically that. I mean, it's just, I've been playing it wrong, and it's going to actually change the way I play the game quite drastically. But, I mean, why is it in that section? Every single rule in the entire manual, and in most manuals in general, if it's inside a section, it pertains just to that section. So the whole of the Mage Knight manual, it's all done a certain way, except for this one rule for Knockout, which doesn't take place during that phase step. It's actually for the entire phase. Whatever. So, I mean, strictly speaking, there's nothing in the rule that says it doesn't happen outside of that phase. So, strict rules lawyer sense, I've been playing it correct. But I've talked to a lot of people, and apparently I'm not. So we are now going to do it this other way. And that's because that would change the way we did our turn last time, because we would have gotten knocked out by using the horn. Luckily, what Knockout does is drop everything but wounds. And we did that anyway by choice to make sure that we drew the heal. So it wouldn't have actually changed the turn just by fluke. Anyway, let's get into this actual turn. And first thing we need to do is, let's just get rid of that card. We need to do our actual tactic choices for the day. So I'm just going to give this a shuffle, and because the dummy player is the first player, we're going to drag a dummy card off for him, and it's Mana Steal, which is a really lame tactic. Well, Mana Steal is a great tactic, but it's not very good for co-op because it depletes the total choices in the mana pool, which can hurt your opponents. But in competitive Mage Knight, Mana Steal is one of the best cards you can pick. So, starting with Wolfhawk, let's see what she's got. Let's give her deck a shuffle. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, because she has 5 cards. But she also owns a keep, and if I remember correctly, yep, she's actually on it or adjacent to it. So she gets a 6 card. What you got? Okay, so we've got 2 wounds. That's not very cool. And she basically wants to go here and take this keep. So she needs 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 to get in there. But she only needs 4 to get up there. She hasn't got any... Well, she's got this actually. What's this do? That gives her 4 movement, and everything sideways gives +1. So that's not actually bad. You know what I think I'm going to do is I'm actually going to take Rethink. And I'm going to shuffle this, and I think I might even shuffle this back in as well. Save it for later when we're doing a powerful movement. Oh yeah, that's what we're going to do. So I'm going to draw another 3 cards. 1, 2, 3. And these get then shuffled back into the deck. Now that's the way I play, you know, I look at the single guy and just choose the tactic per hand rather than thinking of the whole team. It sort of just speeds it up greatly. Next is Athrethia. What have you got for us? This is reactivated. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, bam. Okay. God, we would have liked Rethink for her as well. She has attack and healing and tranquility. Ugh, terrible hand for her. Absolutely terrible. But we want her to have tons of influence. So... I think she's going to take Great Start, which is not a card that I particularly like, but let's see what she's got. 1, 2, bam. Next, we have Tuvok. Let's give him a shuffle. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now he's done Jack, so we're going to give him planning. Let's try and get him to have some more powerful turns. And finally, this guy actually has 6 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And he hasn't got many choices. I think he may as well take the right moment, because no one's down here, so there's no one's going to take his turn. Okay, so that is our setup. We have Wolfhawk is going first again, followed by the dummy player. Then we have Athrethia. Then we have Tuvok, and Bra is last again. So let's actually do our turn now. Oh, much better starting hand. Okay, so green in the thing. So we can go, and there's a red. So we can go bam. I might need to keep that heal considering how many wounds she has. So let's go bam and bam. And that gives us 3 or 5. So let's just play it. And this is part of the way that I play the game with my reshuffling of the choices. So we're playing this play this as a 5, considering the red dice is up here, and that will allow us to, we're at least going to get to there and have a peek. So let's have a look at this guy, see if we can actually kill him. We take 2 damage because we can't block it. Well, we do actually have a block 5, which means we can block 1 of the damage, which might be worth doing considering we've got so much damage. And we need to do 5 damage to kill. So that is a kill. So if we do that with a red dice and we've got a crystal, that's a kill. Is there a blue up here? There is no blue, so we can't really do this one. But there is a green, but we still need to produce, what do we need to get in there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 for the wall. So that would be 4, 5, 6, it'd be 4, 5, 6, 7. Bam. So this would have to be here, and we'll take this one. Boom, and a boom. And that's that. Now the question is, we can use her ability. Oh, it's a once per round. I don't really want to use it for this particular fight. We could remove swiftness, but I think this is what we're going to do. So to recap, we produced 4 movement plus 2. That's 6 plus 1 playing sideways. That gives us 7 movement. And that gives us 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for the wall, 6, 7. We're in the keep. We take 2 damage in the face, 1, 2. And then we produce 5 attack with improvisation, which kills this guy. And so much for him. So that makes him go back 1 for assaulting a keep, but she also kills a hero, which is another negative rep. But we do get 5 fame. It takes us to 19, so she levels up. Now, I think we're going to be forced to take some kind of healing spell for this. So let's just come in here. We're going to put that here just to remind us. Let's shuffle this in. Get a white, that's nice. Oh, we already had a white on the table though, unfortunately. And I'll give this a shuffle. What have you got for us? Okay, so we've got a heal. That'd be very, very nice. And normally I wouldn't take this heal, but we have so many wounds in our deck, as you saw at the beginning. I actually really like this dueling skill. But we're going to take this wound thing here. And then we're going to finish up. I actually think we are not going to cast heal Tranquility. We're going to wait for the next turn and cast Tranquility in our next turn and heal 2 wounds. Because she has so many wounds that clearing 2 wounds is really going to make a difference for us. And we still get to draw a whole heap of cards because we now are standing on a keep and we own 2. So we're actually drawing 7 cards. That's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Excellent. Next is the dummy player. Set up a camera for him at position 2. Give this a shuffle. 1, 2, 3. It's a white, so 1 and 2 because we've got 2 white crystals, and that's that. Next is Aretha. Okay, so what did Great Start give you? Anything good? Oh, look at that. Exactly what we wanted. Threaten, and we get Promise. Couldn't have asked for anything better. And we've even got Regeneration here. Oh, this is a great hand for us now. Couldn't have gone better. And we've got Mana Pool. So, the reason why this is so good is because we are oh, this gets flipped over because it's daytime, doesn't it? Yeah, that's pretty easy to kill. That's just 2 damage and a 4 to kill. So we'll get that next turn. But we are standing on a refugee camp, which means that we can buy from anywhere. We can buy from cities. It just costs us 3 extra rep. Now, let's just have a look at her. Yeah, so she's currently at 0, so she's got no penalty. And if I remember right, yeah, here we are. Look at this. One of the best cards in the game is available. It's a city unit, but we can get this at the refugee camp. We just have to work out how to produce 14 influence, which I think we can produce quite easily since we did that fantastic, great start. Oop, that's my phone. Hang on. Right, back. So yeah, we're going to hire this guy. We need 13 to do it. And it shouldn't be any issue for us, I don't think, because we just did that great draw. For starters, we are going to do mana pull. And this, you can use an additional dice, and we can actually use a black die and use it as a die of any color. So we're going to use mana pool. We're going to use influence, and we're going to use threaten. Pull out a white die and pull out the black die. And we have already produced 9 rep. 9. This thing we can trade in for 3 rep, 3 fame, or whatever it's called, influence. And that's actually, I don't know if I've talked to you about this yet, I can't remember. But you can trade in these guys for, somewhere here we are, 3 influence. So we have already created, 11, I think? 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, no, 12. So we've already created 12. And this dude here actually can produce 4. So if we do 4, it's 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. That's 13. And then I'm actually going to do Tranquility, because that's a bad card for her, because we want to keep her wounds, to make 19. So just to check that, we played Mana Pool. We got 2 dice, including a black, which is a wild card. We got 5, 9, 13, and then 1 for 14. And that purchases the guard. Awesome. Can't wait to use this. Now we need to figure out how, we need to start producing green, find a way to produce green mana. There is a spell here, so we're going to take this spell, and that'll allow us to produce green mana when we need it. Excellent. Okay. Now that that is all done, that leaves us with a total of 4. That leaves us with another 7 influence for later. I might actually, that other one can make things not attack. I don't know how I feel about it, but I might do another influence bid next turn and pick up another card if we can. But of course we did threaten people, so we go down 1 in reputation. Excellente. Very happy with that turn. And we draw up to 5. 3, 4, 5. Next is Tuvok. Meow. Over here. I think that's 4, isn't it? So this is actually camera, this should be camera 3. And this should be camera 2. So the way I keep track of the turn order is by creating cameras 1. Because if you go control and then the number, you can set cameras. So now if I want to do first player, it's just shift 1. Shift 2 for second, shift 3, and now shift 4. So he has a terrible hand. He does have planning. And he's like in the middle of nowhere. I think he's going to go to this village. So he needs 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to get to the village. And that shouldn't be too hard for him to produce. He does have a diplomacy here, which is nice. And he does have a promise, which is also good. So we are going to definitely go 4. Looks like we rolled the exact same dice again. So we got 4, I think I'm going to discard this guy for 5. So that's 5 takes us into the village. And that's the end of his go. Another red die. Damn it. Okay, but the interesting thing is we have planning, so we're +1, so we can draw to 6. 1, 2, 3. Now he is in the village, and if let's flip this sucker over. He is in the village, and if I remember correctly, that means that there is, yes, there is. There's a hero, and this hero can be recruited in villages. Very, very good. 3 physical resistance, plus all these amazing abilities, and a huge heal. You know what? Maybe I should take this. I might take this character for for Wolfhawk, because we had so many wounds in her hand. The other person with a ton of wounds actually is Bra. This guy down here. But anyway, you can recruit this in a village. So there's peasants, who cares, and there's these guys, meh. But we can recruit this in a village, and it's a very good card. The influence isn't too much of an issue, because it says you need to use 2 influence to use, and people get confused because it's actually only when you do assaults, because the idea is that it's a hero, she's a good guy, she doesn't like attacking villages, burning down monasteries, all that kind of stuff. So you need to pay influence to convince her, but she can attack anything that isn't an assault. So going to dungeons, mazes, kill marauding monsters without spending influence. So it's a better card than it looks like at first glance. Okay, so after Tuvok we have this guy. What have you got for us? He is the 5th player. Flip this thing over. Right, so he's got a pretty interesting hand. He's got attacks, that's 6, 7, 8. We can produce 8 attack, which is not nearly enough to kill this dragon unless we block Coldfire 6, which is like 12 block. Otherwise we need to produce 14. Wow. 14 attack or 12 block is what we need, basically. So we can produce 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yeah, so we can't really do this. But we do have movement. So let's try and move here. That's going to cost 10 movement to get there because it's daytime and these are deserts. They cost 5 to get through. But we do have some powerful movement cards. We've got this sucker and this sucker. I might want to keep that for healing. Oh no, we healed almost all our wounds, didn't we, after that knockout? So maybe we don't need the healing for him. So what have you got here? Move 2. The move cost of 1 type of terrain is reduced by 1 this turn to a minimum of 2. So that's 4. So that would actually get us directly into here, but there's no blue dice. We do have a green dice. So that would be... Okay, so what we'd do with a green... Move 2, the move cost of 1 space is reduced by 1 this turn to a minimum of 2. So that's move 2. And we've also produced move 4. 4, 5, 6 we've produced. So that is 4 to get in there because it's reduced by 1. So we need another 3 movement to get into there. So I think we're going to go 1, 2, 3. And bam. So this is 4 movement because we can reduce it by 1. Bam, that's 9 movement. So we produce 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Beautiful. And he's ready to buy a whole bunch of units next turn. Or maybe attack. So he's going to draw back up to 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Ooh. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So the question is, do I just want to do right moment straight away? Maybe. We'll see what happens. I think I'll wait a turn. And that's pretty much that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 there. Yeah. Okay, so that was kind of an interesting turn. Wait, what happened here? Did I draw 1, 2, 3? I don't think I took a level up card. Yeah, I didn't take a level up card. I'm gonna check. Yeah, I didn't. So I'm just going to shuffle them back in. One, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There we go. And you bam. Okay, so that's that. Okay. So much for that, and I will see you guys